What's up, everybody? Welcome to Bios3 Raw TV. I got an email from Josh Lewis, and it was a pretty good, question. So I figured, I don't think I've covered this before, and it's probably a good thing to cover. So his email said, "Hey Jerry, I have a question. It might make a good short video for you to do. Do you feel that tracking your workouts in a notebook, a person is able to make faster gains? I personally have never done it and know how I progress, but I do not know how fast because I cannot look back at the numbers. Do you think it would have made a difference in how fast I progressed?" All right, here's the deal. Now, I think when you first start out training, it's probably a good idea to keep a logbook. I did it for many years. And, if you're doing something like the dog crap training, where you beat the logbook and you rotate exercise based on whether or not you beat the logbook that week, that's a very important part of keeping a logbook too. Now, at the point I'm at right now, 23 years into training very instinctively, it is a bad idea, very bad idea for me to keep a logbook now. The reason being is, let's say, for instance, I hit, 350 on the bench last week. And I know that I hit 350. And I look back, I say, okay, 350. So I'm trying to get at least 350 this week, but I really want to get a little more than 350. Now, what if, for some reason, because, shit happens, I didn't get enough sleep for a couple days, I missed some protein, whatever the reason is, I didn't recover fully, I'm tired, and I see that number in the logbook. Now, in my head, I have to beat that number. Now, physically, my body may not be able to hit that number again based on the factors such as sleep, diet, stress, stuff like that that was different the week before. Now I go in there and I try to hit that number, and I wind up getting hurt. Or I wind up not getting the number and saying, well, man, fuck, I'm regressing backwards, and it sends your mind into a spin where you're like, what am I doing wrong? Why am I not progressing fast enough? When you may be progressing just fine, but based on other factors around you, you don't hit that number. So the number becomes something that if you wind up chasing it to a certain point, it can actually ruin you. Because, I seen, I had a friend who tore his pec with 185 pounds on the bench press. 185. And, it wasn't his max bench press, but the bottom line is he went in there that day and he obviously wasn't recovered, didn't really listen to his body. He said, I warm up with 185 normally. Well, today wasn't normal, and he actually ripped his pec. He didn't have to have surgery, but it's a huge indent on it, turned black, and it was just, and you heard it from across the gym, like it was like canvas being ripped in half. And that basically was because he didn't have it in him. He should have started with the bar, started with 135 for a few sets, seen how he feel, and then progressed from there. But now he was like, yeah, I can do this, no problem. I've done it in the past. Jump, 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 and tear. And that was pretty much the end of his bodybuilding career right there, because, that limits a lot of exercises he can do with that torn pec, not being able to train heavy. So do I think it's a good idea for a logbook? A beginner, yes. And when I'm saying a beginner, I'm talking about somebody who's first starting, not, you just started this week. Somebody's been in the gym for a couple of months. You want to see where you're at. For a week, you write down all your weights on every exercise you do. And then maybe a couple weeks later, you do the same thing. Not every week. So give it a couple weeks and then write down all the exercises again and what you hit with those weights for those reps. And then if you decide, look, you know what? I want to try to beat some of these numbers. Go ahead and slowly try to beat some of them. See how it works out. Again, you want to slowly progress with the logbook. It's not huge jumps. But if you don't get a certain number, even if you're a beginner, it could still be those same factors. If you work a rotating schedule, or if you work, so many hours overtime this week, which you did in the week before, you got to take those factors in consideration that it may affect your performance in the gym. And that has nothing to do with the fact whether you're doing something wrong diet-wise or training-wise. It's just other factors coming into play that may hold you back, but that's part of life. You got to do what you got to do. bios3training@gmail.com. Leave comments down below, but don't fight. www.bios3training.com is the blog, and we're the logbook bicep. We're out.